Alrighty then, the career mode is now done. We have 100% in the career mode. We've done all the race events and milestone events, and we have also topped all of the rap sheet rankings, and as a result of us beating the game, Cross has now put us on the national most wanted list. Our notoriety redemption is complete. And now, I think I'm gonna do a circuit tour or something with the M3 GTR, because I figured, why not? And also because, well, I figured I might as well do something in tribute to the M3 GTR because of, well, just how iconic this thing is, both in motor racing and also in street racing, if you think about it. And in typical fashion, I miss the shop entrance. Anyway, I think there's probably just one thing I'm going to change on this thing, because I know it's already fully upgraded. I think the only thing I'm really going to change is just put on my racing number, and then I think the other thing I'll put on this thing is another window tint. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. And I think I'll just leave everything else the same. And I would assume it's understandable as to why it's only the paint that really matters. But anyway. I think the only other thing I'll change here is just putting sponsors on both the front and rear windshield, just as a totem to the greatness of the M3 GTR. And also because, well, I want to. I'm just putting on a few sponsors, just so you can clearly see this car is mine. It's just minute details I'm putting on this thing. I think I'll put the most wanted sticker on both sides, because why not? Okay. I think that's pretty much all the changes I need to make. Everything else is fine. And we'll spend $1,000. Okay. Just a few minute details I wanted to change on this thing, because now we are gonna go racing in this thing. So gonna head back to the safe house. My heat level is down a bit, because I changed a few things around, but that's okay, because I still want to at least maintain the prestige of what this car has. And basically, I'm just going to do a 3-race circuit tour with the M3. Basically with probably 3 races, and I think the first one I'm going to do... yeah, we'll do Country Club. 'Cause why not? So we got ourselves a Mazda RX-7, a Merc SLR McLaren, and a Porsche Carrera GT. It's probably understandable to see why we cannot do any body or performance tuning to this thing, because, well, this thing basically is about as good as it'll get. Yeah. Putting together a circuit tour in this game and actually winning 3 races, yeah, at this point, I can confidently say with the amount of fumbles or slip-ups I've had at this point, that to me is simply way easier said than done. Because as I said before, this game basically does give you a 5-finger death punch. Because it will physically not take any prisoners. If you make any big mistakes. I was almost in the clear, and then right there, on that last lap, I just had to fuck myself by running into water barrels. Which basically was pretty much a death sentence on my shots of winning. And right now, I am actually pretty furious with myself. In other words, I feel pretty apoplectic with how that previous run finished. Because I both could have and should have won it, but then right there at the end, I just physically had to choke away what would have been an easy victory. That's honestly why I'm not really talking as much at the moment. Because I effectively choked away what should have been a surefire win. And I'm not even joking when I say that. When this game punishes you, it punishes you hard. Depending on the big mistakes you make. And because this is a long circuit race, it's also it's also the sort of thing that practically makes your mistakes feel even more annoying when you lose. Because it's the longer ones where you know it gets particularly frustrating. But either way, I will get it figured out eventually, because I always do. Yeah, maintaining leads in this game without making mistakes, as I said before, it's way easier said than done. Especially if you make one big massive mistake that basically costs you your life. In terms of walking away with the trophy, it basically costs you your life. In terms of your winning odds. It's almost like you're looking at a death wheel. Like you're wondering just how many spins you can physically take before you eventually die on the wheel. Which at this point is kind of how I feel and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. It's probably going to do just the opposite. Yeah, I'm not missing that shortcut this time. And I got a very poor exit, which is going to cost me some time. Just have to make sure this time around I do not run into those water barrels. Those fucking godforsaken water barrels that basically made me die last time. Basically the equivalent of practically going into a tree at 170 is what it felt like last time. As in, it was just the sort of run into a tree speeds that basically was enough. To practically break every bone in your body because of how fast you went into the tree. There have actually been plenty of racing accidents in the time. There have been plenty of racing accidents in the past that have involved drivers going headfirst into trees. Those were the types of fatalities that often used to happen a lot of the time in racing. That did used to be a common occurrence among race driver fatalities. And it wasn't just in Formula 1 either, it was basically in other forms of racing as well. Come on, don't choke, don't choke, don't choke, don't choke. Okay. We got it. Took me 3 failed attempts to get there, but we actually got it. A 7 minute 17.6 is what I set for finishing the race and winning over Potter, Little and Nielsen. Okay, that's done. And right before cops get involved, I head back to the safe house. Because I can. Oh, that was a long one. And you know what? I'm gonna do something a bit shorter. I'm gonna head to East Park. Okay? Okay. So, here we are. And where this time we got a Cadillac, CTS, Mazda RX-7 and a Ford GT. For our second race of 3 in our M3 GTR tour. Because I figured why not. It has also been even more tuned than what it was before for street racing. It would honestly amaze me if at some point Polyphony were actually going to bring back the M3 GTR. Because I feel like that car did have some appeal in other racing games, aside from, well, obviously Most Wanted. There were a few sim racing games where the M3 GTR did appear. But anyway, this is a much shorter race than the one I did before, and quite honestly, I probably needed this one. Because I was not going to drive another 3+ minute lap, or less than 3 minute lap, around a super long course. Even though I probably still have to do Hastings, but that's a personal choice. And this time on the brakes, I know that is a sharp left-hander. That does not help me. But either way, we are still leading. And because we are on a shorter course, there's a little bit more margin for error compared to before, when we were just on long straightaways mostly. With this one, however, not as many straightaways. And that's why I think the mistakes are less punishing than they were before. But either way, we are still keeping ourselves going. But either way, we are still running good. And thus, in spite of my struggles in race 1, it's looking more and more like race 2 might just be a win for me. As I continue to hold a sizable lead, and one car is still in trouble. I think that's Anderson who's in trouble. And he is now 1 lap down. I honestly never thought I would actually overlap someone in this game, but I guess that just goes to show how dominant the GTR has been. And I honestly appreciate the idea of not having to battle with the car in terms of the way it looks from its body kit or really its distinctive vinyl or thereabouts. But either way, 2 races down, winning in the end by 4.45 seconds over Nielsen. Chrome finished 3rd, and Anderson, probably the first and only time I will actually overlap someone in this game, finished in 8 minutes and 23 seconds. Once he got out of his hole. Anyway, another one done. And now I'm going to do one more race with the GTR, so then that'll pretty much make this a 3-race tour. And we are going to do probably the longest track in this game, Hastings. Okay, let's go. So this time we've got a Corvette, an Audi A4, and a Lamborghini Murcielago. I really thought for sure there was a shortcut there, but there wasn't. Right now, however, I seem to be doing okay. And fortunately, this course does have plenty of corners, which means the mistakes will also not be as punishing here as they were at Country Club, because at Country Club, I basically got my ass handed to me a few times, but with this one, I think I should be okay. Because I'm basically heading through downtown Rockport, Camden Beach, and basically Rosewood, all in one track, basically. Or thereabouts. And as ever, I am managing to stay ahead of Turbo Freak. I don't know where the other cars are positioned because this game sadly does not reveal which driver is driving which car. So it's basically just guessing work mostly over what rides they have. Which kind of sucks to a degree because I am one of those people who does like to know what cars my opponents are driving. But at the same time, I feel like that's probably one thing they no doubt forgot to do at some point, even though probably one or two of the developers might have thought about doing it. But either way, that still doesn't stop this game from being great, because I think this really is a great game. It's easily one of the best, in my opinion. And I say that hyperbole. And why I say that hyperbole, well, you'll find out soon enough. But right now, I'm just happy to say that I managed to finish this game. And that I also managed to prove I am the undisputed, most wanted street racer in all of Rockport. That's what I wanted to prove, that's what I have proven. And as I said before, this is a super long lap. You nearly have to drive 4 minutes just to get to the end of the first one. But the other two, I think they're probably about 3.5 minutes long. Or thereabouts. Okay. We're doing good for now. We are maintaining our advantage. And although this course is super long, I think it's an okay course because it has plenty of corners. And you're not having to be so reliant on the straightaways to keep you ahead. You're basically just relying on the corners. So, the running order has not changed since the start of the race, as the running order is still myself over Turbo Freak, Kaiser, and Clown. I have no doubt in saying all of those are nicknames. A lot like the nicknames on the Blacklist members. But anyway. We are pretty much doing what the gods of racing asked me to do in this race, and that's virtually dominate. And now we have had our first position change of the race, as Clown is now up to second, or was up to second before he crashed, and that's a wall. But either way, still managing to maintain my gap over Turbo Freak, and at this point, I don't think that's a gap I'll lose, because my car is just so hooked up to the track surface right now, or should I say to the road surface, because it's just doing so well. Plus the other reason I chose to make the changes I did is well because, well, I mean, come on, it's a race car. You wouldn't be expecting me to basically drive this thing without me pretty much proving to you that whilst it may not be the stock model, I at least have to convince you in saying that the machine is mine, as I said before. It's basically the same machine as before, except for saying it's just made with a few tweaks here and there. I've heard it is also possible to drive the street version, M3 GTR. I think in the arcade mode that is a car you can drive. There is the street version M3 GTR, and I know that because I've seen it a few times in the game as well, so it definitely tells me there is a street stock version of the GTR. Alright, final lap. Looks like we're probably going to end this in about, I would say, 11 minutes and 40 seconds minimum. This car is just so hooked up to the track surface. It's almost unbelievable with just how much grip it's burning off. Just so neatly attached to the track surface the way it is. It's honestly just unbelievable to think about just how well this car drives. And of course, well, the thing is with Most Wanted, it did also go on to inspire a generation of musicians that would follow because of this game's insane soundtrack. And a lot of recognisable artists also appeared on that soundtrack. The most notable of those I can think of would probably have to be The Prodigy, because they were a chart-topping act in the 90s and 2000s. And as ever, stepping on the brakes for that right-hander, because why not? There's no stopping power without brakes, unless you use the handbrake. Then in which case you basically have no stopping power. But either way, it's fine. We're still keeping ourselves moving, and that's what we need to do. And we've now passed the 10-minute mark, so I don't think we've got too much longer to go here. So we're still running good for now. Yeah, you really have to be careful with those metal pillars. Domination, thy name is Jordan. Because my car is just so rubbered in to the road surface. It's basically just burning away from the competition. And I think that's where my speed got scrubbed off. I really thought for sure that was going to be a head-on hit. So glad it didn't turn out to be that. And for the first time all race, I have lost the lead. And I might get punished for it. Nope, you won't block me. Come on, can I get this one first try? Come on, come on. Yes! Win first try, baby! I did not think I was actually gonna end this off with what was almost a three-way fight to the finish. Even though it was mainly a two-way fight, but whatever. I beat the Murcielago. That was driven by Turbo Freak. Then it was Clown who finished in third, and Kaiser finished in fourth. I think Clown was in the Corvette. And Kaiser was probably the one in the Audi. But anyway, these are the stats. I had the slowest top speed, but yet I had the highest average speed. And in terms of our laps, my quickest was a 3:51, and Clown set the fastest overall time with 3 minutes 48.35. Okay, we're done.
District 1 be advised. Numerous complaints are being received about speeding vehicles.
Yeah, that is the Corvette, I see there.
Minimum time to
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did see the Corvette there. I'm convinced in saying Clown was the one in the Corvette, and Kaiser was the one in the Audi. But anyway, there we go. So that is basically your miniature tour of the M3 GTR. Me basically paying tribute to the mascot car of this game. And basically what every person in the Need for Speed fandom almost considers to basically be the franchise car, period. Aside from a few notable exceptions. But whatever. M3 GTR Tour, or whatever this is going to be called, is now done. And next time, we will start the Challenge series.